All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to talk about Oyster coin or Pearl or who cares, whatever it's called. Nobody cares. Secure, anonymous, stored data on the IOTA Tangle. Oh man, I know I got my wallet out. Do you? So let's check it out. Let's check out the price of this real quick. We don't even need to read the white paper. Let's not even bother. Oh man, it's 25 cents a coin. It's got a market cap of 3 million. It's looking like a good coin. Oh no, what happened here? I'm not sure what happened here, but you know what? This might be a good time to buy this coin. It's a good dip. And then let's just read an article about it just to be sure about this coin. Developer and founder tanks Oyster protocol price by deliberate dumping. Oh no, that's not good at all. So I'm here to talk about, of course, the Oyster exit scam. Yeah, I guess you could call it an exit scam, more of a deliberate dumping, as you can see in the article here. And I'm going to show you guys a bunch of stuff about this and do some reading because this is pretty sousy interesting. The Oyster Protocol digital asset has experienced a catastrophe, to say the least. A mix of an exit scam plus self-sabotage. Following internal disagreements of the team, PRL crashed by more than 51% on Wednesday and wiped out more than 85% of its value after massive selling on KuCoin. PRL now trades at about 3 cents after diving from levels of 22 cents. PRL was appreciating and even having a short-term rally when the news of smart contract abuse and exchange dumping caused irreparable damage. It turned out that Oyster Protocol founder and developer going by the moniker Bruno Block, and we're going to talk about that a lot, had disagreements with the project's CEO, Bill Cordes. I'm just going to say Cordes. I don't know how to say his name. Bruno explained his actions in a lengthy post. He disliked the way the price pumped on rumors of a Binance listing. So he basically told Bill, I warned Bill against insider trading. He didn't care, so instead of him and his VC friends dumping on you, I dumped on him. Because when they were going to put it on KuCoin, it went from 4 cents to 26 cents. And so I guess that means that this guy thought he would dump it. But again, we're going to talk about this guy a lot here because it gets a lot more interesting the more this goes on. Binance has given no indication of a listing, and in general, news of a coin's listing are kept secret until the last moment, which is generally true with Binance for the most part. Still, in the case of PRL, the rumors caused a price pump. Unlike Coinbase, where they just announce it and then sometimes they just ninja release it like even earlier than what they announced it, and then people claim that they're insider trading. I don't know. So I think an exchange, should keep it a secret. Coinbase and some other exchanges do not, and then the coin price pumps. Bruno padded his speech with generally bearish attitudes toward the crypto market as a whole. And we'll read that in a moment here. Following the sales of thousands of coins, Bruno, which is much more than thousands, Bruno also went public with a refusal to get the asset relisted on KuCoin, despite the fact that the community now sees Pearl as a dead token. The founder and developer announced the plans to continue working on the protocol. The Oyster protocol, is an approach to redundant data storage through the IOTA protocol. So I want to bring it to Reddit now, and this is the Oyster Reddit. They call this coin Oyster Pearl, which I guess pearls are in oysters, so I honestly don't even know. Just Oyster, sure, why not? Or Pearl, also sure, why not? So this is Bruno's message, who is one of the developers, and interestingly enough, he was fairly anonymous. So nobody knows if the developers knew who this guy was and knew about him, knew his family life or his personal life or his details for that matter. Or also nobody knows if the developers just had this guy completely anonymous and never even knew him, knew his name or anything like that, which I find to be unbelievable. But let's go and read this message, which is sousy at best. When Oyster boomed in December, so this is Bruno's message, I wanted to go on a huge hiring spree. I was always very product focused, but people only wanted to hear about marketing. Chris Bamber approached me along with Bill. Bill turned out to be an honest and hardworking guy, but Chris did next to nothing. I paid each member of C-Suite 1 million Pearl each, which was evaluated at $500,000 each. Which I don't even think Pearl was ever 50 cents. Was it ever 50 cents? Let's see, actually. Well, I suppose. No, it was never 50 cents, so Pearl was definitely not $1 million, or $500,000 for 1 million coins. But anyway, let's continue on. Chris bailed on us for the exponential hiring. Why was I so pushy about hiring? Because I knew Bitcoin and all of the crypto was in a bubble. I sold a lot of my own Pearl and Pearl for the treasury, but Bill preached hesitation instead. Got to do that hodling. Then Ethereum went from $1,200 to $200. It became difficult to keep hiring people. My plan for a large, robust team of developers was blocked. I spent downtime to start healing from trauma I was going through. This guy sounds like he's not that right in the head. And this guy believes in a lot of conspiracy theories. And actually, I don't know, I think a lot of people do, even so do I to some extent. But this guy believes in some weird stuff. Then Bill told the group that we got accepted on Binance. That's when the problem started. Wait, didn't the problem start before that? I don't know. The price immediately started pumping from 4 cents to 26 cents. I warned Bill against insider trading. He didn't care, so instead of him and his VC friends dumping on you, I dumped on him. So far Bruno to me sounds like a total D-bag for the most part. So it goes on to say, I advise all of you to get out of crypto. Go educate yourselves about what is happening with Tether. The entire crypto sphere is a giant Ponzi scheme. I warned all of you multiple times in private and public, and nobody listens. So I wouldn't call it a giant Ponzi scheme. If it is what he says it is, I think you should just like scratch Ponzi scheme and just giant bubble, because a Ponzi scheme is a totally different getting money from investors to, it's kind of a different thing. Anyway, so I warned all of you multiple times in private and public, and nobody listens. Ethereum is going back to $5. If you want to sell back to a greater fool, then you will only find yourself to be that fool. So what will now happen? So he went on to release Bitfinex and Buttcoin, Reddit Buttcoin, which basically makes jokes of crypto. Essentially, it's basically a Reddit, like an anti-crypto Reddit kind of. And then Bitfinex also shows some pretty funny things. The Twitter Bitfinex is actually pretty funny. I'm actually following them just because it is kind of funny. So, like, for example, Madoff wasn't on the blockchain is always on here, and a fractal I'm looking at. And it's seriously, how do these posts get 150 likes? Imagine spending hours of time looking for worthless fractals. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? A fractal I'm looking at. This chart doesn't mean anything. It's just a line through it. Like, you could have chosen to put it here. I could have chosen to put it like up here. I could have chosen to go like this. These charts mean nothing. Me and TA don't get along, unfortunately, and that's okay. Some people are better at it than others, but me and TA just do not get along. So it's just a funny, it is a funny Reddit. But anyway, so he posted those, and it says, what will now happen? Bill, you're fired. I'm going to introduce the protocol on my own. Gradually, if someone wants to help me, they can do so free of charge. No marketing, no nonsense. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's just going to help you free of charge. Totally. PRL will still be the valid token used by the protocol, no contract swap. And I reject the Binance listing, and I don't want KuCoin to reactivate our listings. And number 5, focus on the storage peg. That is what brings value to the token, not your Ponzi shenanigans. Again, I really don't know what this guy's getting at with a Ponzi scheme. If you have a coin like that, it's really not a Ponzi scheme. Like BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme. Genesis Mining, I feel like, is just kind of a half Ponzi scheme sort of deal. Because if you're paying a lot of people a lot of referral money, and that's like how those people are making money, then that's pretty much a pyramid scheme. That's a Ponzi scheme. I had a guy comment on my YouTube channel, and I was actually going to show his YouTube channel. I was going to show it because he makes some videos, but he only gets like 80 views per video that he makes, and he's just kind of a nobody. And I don't want to seem to myself like, I'm somebody, look at me. I'm pretty much a nobody as well. But he basically attacked me for hating on, cloud mining and stuff like that. He was saying, look, mine are profitable. And I'm like, no, they're not. Like, mathematically, they're not profitable. Like, the maintenance fees are more than what you get per terahash. Like, you can do the math on Genesis Mining. It's like 35 cents a terawatt, or excuse me, a terahash. So basically, if you get 1 terahash, you're not going to make 35 cents a day with Bitcoin, and therefore you're not going to get paid. Your maintenance fee is higher than what you're actually being paid. So like, no, mathematically you are not being paid on Genesis mining, except for they have the new thing out where it's cheaper, but you have to pay the maintenance fees up front, which is a real douche move. And anyway, I went to his channel, and he was making on like AWS or some kind of miner, some kind of cloud mining service. I can't even remember what it's called, AWP or AWS or something like that. I didn't even pay attention to it. And I looked at his video, and he showed his profits daily, and he was making like 30 cents a day. But I also noticed that like once in a while he had these referral links for like $4, $8, that sort of thing. So that's where he was making the majority of his money. So he's signing everybody up to this service so that they can make 30 cents a day, so that he can make $4, like 10, 20 times the amount he's making per day mining. That's called a pyramid scheme. That's a fucking Ponzi scheme, okay? When you're making that much money in referral links, but you're only making 20, 30 cents a day mining, you're screwing people over in mass. Like, everybody you sign up to that, you're not telling everybody, like, hey, you're only going to make 30 cents a day, and I'm going to make $8 off of every sign up you make. That's a pyramid scheme. Now, you might notice, hey, MrSotko, don't you have a Coinbase link in the description of the video? I sure do, but nobody's taken that in a really long time, because I don't think anybody's signing up on Coinbase anymore. However, they get $10, I get $10. That's a fair deal, right? But when you sign up to somebody on Genesis Mining or BitConnect or all those services, they get nothing, and you get everything. That doesn't make sense. Like, why even bother taking your referral link? If I'm not going to get anything out of it, a discount or anything like that. Oh, no, I forgot the 3%, that whole sousy percent off Genesis Mining. Wow, 3%? Holy shit. 3% of any number is nothing, right? So, anyway, it goes on to say, if you want to buy only to sell to a greater fool, then you are that greater fool. PRL and SHL are not listed on an exchange until the actual functioning products. So basically, you might be asking, what happened here? This guy went into the smart contract. Let me show you the smart contract. So this guy had basically control over the contract, and he was a developer. So if you look at number 13 here, this is the Oyster smart contract on Etherscam. And if you look at number 13 here, this says sale closed, true. Well, before a couple days ago, I actually learned about this exit scam here, or rather this dumping scam, if you want to call it. And this was set to false. So that means that the sale was not over. So that means you can essentially create more coins and restart an ICO. Now, moving down to 18 here, director lock is also false, meaning that you can basically do whatever you want after the contract is already released, after the ICO is done. So nobody apparently looked at the contract. Of course, I didn't either, because, I don't know, I never bought any Oyster, but nobody looked at the contract to see this. So this has since been changed to true, and this is still false. So basically what the guy did is printed about 3 million Oyster and then dumped it on an exchange, on KuCoin, if I'm not mistaken. So he made himself like a cool, I don't know, like 300,000 or something said dollars. Probably in Bitcoin, which he, or Monero or something, which he just laundered away by now. So he goes on to say, if you want to play the greater fool games with Bill income, and there is an overwhelming vote in support for Oyster becoming a perma-Ponzi, then I will leave you all to have fun with it. This guy is a burned out conspiracy theorist watching way too much YouTube. And let me sip on my gallon of water. Boom. Big old gallon of water. So this guy's burned out. He's watched way too many conspiracy videos, way too much Alex Jones. If you want PRL to operate as I've described in the white paper, everyone is fired, and I will slowly but surely work on the protocol and post progress publicly. The last time I hired a bunch of people and threw money at them, they turned it into a circus. However, I don't believe that there is electricity running through the power grid soon. This is still Bruno here. I don't believe that there will be electricity running through the power grid soon. I sent this video and others like it a long time ago to this chat. So let's check out this video. The video he sent is There's No Tomorrow, and it's basically a limits to growth and future of resources and the limiting of resources, which, you know, there's some validity to the video. I didn't watch it all. I just kind of scanned through it. But there's some validity to the video. Of course, natural resources are, you know, finite and such, but humans always move on. I don't know. Whatever. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, I guess. I don't know. So go learn about peak oil and fractional reserve banking system. The stock shale bubble is an obfuscated means to subsidize the price of oil, which is probably true. All this stuff is probably true, but like, what does this have to do with Oyster? What does this have to do with a Ponzi scheme? What does this have to do with him making 3 million and essentially restarting the ICO, making 3 million coins and then dumping them because reasons? So I want to continue on here. So, you know, in a nutshell, Oyster, Bruno, an Oyster developer, was totally anonymous to the developers. Otherwise, they would have caught this guy by now, or, you know, put his name out there in the world or something like that. It's just Bruno. And so nobody knows who this is, right? So did the developers not know who this is? Like, if I was developing a coin and somebody was just like, hey, I'm an anonymous person, I want to work on your coin, maybe give them a little job, but don't make them a full-fledged developer. Like, you need to know this person first. Like, I don't understand this. I think it's starting to get a little weird. So he makes 3 million coins, he dumps them on KuCoin just like 3 days before the KYC, know your customer, begins on KuCoin, and then that would have prevented him to do that, because if he didn't do the full KYC, he wouldn't be able to withdraw more than 2 Bitcoin worth, okay? And 2 Bitcoin is still a lot of money. I mean, $12,000 some dollars, great. But like making 3 million coin like that, dumping them on the exchange, he wouldn't be able to withdraw more than 2 Bitcoin, so it wouldn't have worked for him. So it's quite the coincidence that it was a few days just before the KYC. So the truth about Bruno, here's a post, and like, I can't give any validity to this. It's also on the Oyster Reddit. You know, and the Oyster Reddit right now is filled with this kind of stuff, but it is interesting to think about. So again, can't give the validity to this. However, it certainly happened, the 3 million being sold, you know, and dumping the price of Oyster, as you can see right here. So that's true, but like, let's just take a look at this. So somebody made this post, says, Bruno is a non-existent person. One or more of the current dev team is Bruno. They've had access to smart contract all along, obviously, as I just showed you. They've been steadily selling off Pearl to bag holders over the last year. KuCoin announces they will have KYC for withdrawals over to Bitcoin. So they say, oh no, basically. Concoct idea for quick $300,000. Plan to do it in a few days before KuCoin KYC. So it seems legit. Bruno takes the fall, and they quote Bruno. Takes the fall. Nobody knows who he is, also quoted, because it's literally one or more members of the team. The only ones that worked directly with Bruno damage control, the only ones that work directly with Bruno. Then there's damage control. It says damage control, and then you can even buy back in at lower prices with new treasure chest. Absolutely, of course you could, at 23 cents, and now it's down to 3 cents. Woohoo! You could pick up a lot like that. How much is that? Oh, 7, 8 times as much, you know, coin that you originally had. So explain to me how this is possible. How this isn't possible. In my eyes, it makes a lot more sense than the head of project exit scamming for a quick 300K. He stood to earn a lot more than that, I imagine, if there was ever another bull run. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Some members of the team were either running low on cash or saw an opportunity to make money without completely destroying the project, and they took it. Bruno is the fall guy. He also doesn't exist. Kind of makes sense. I'm not saying that's true just because that kind of makes sense, but who is Bruno? Who is this guy? You mean to tell me that the dev team never knew who this Bruno is? Are you telling me that you put all this trust into this person over this $1 million coin, this millions and millions of dollar market cap coin, into somebody totally anonymous that obviously has clearly a hot head, that's a conspiracy theorist, that's basically crazy, probably has often mental outbursts by the way he wrote? Or is it more realistic that he just never existed? I don't know. Or is it also more realistic that they do know who this person is, and they're just not saying who it is because they're trying to figure it out? Who knows? There's a few, like I said, this gets good. And then another post here, it says, impossible that no one involved with Oyster knows anything about the real Bruno. Devs in the team have been working on this project for a long time, but no one else has ever met or knows any real information about Bruno? Come on, guys. Did that not set off any flags? Did you all not speak to each other and realize not a single one of anyone involved with the project knew anything about this guy? And I understand that some people don't want to have their identity known to the general public, which is understandable. But with past things that has happened in the crypto space, but for none of the whole team to have any idea who Bruno is, beyond naive, and almost to the point I don't believe it can be true, and that no one knows anything about him. And then the comments are pretty good as well. So smart contract and what is going on right now. Do not buy Oyster anywhere. So no smart contract bugs in Oyster Pearl have been found, and the contract passed 3 separate audits. Directorship of the contract had to remain open so that PEG could be adjusted. Earlier this month, directorship was transferred by the original Ethereum address controlled by Bruno Block. That's his full pseudonym, allowing new director to mint 3 million new Pearl. We do not know any reason why this would be done and are currently looking into solutions. This is a community manager. I will update this as soon as I have new information for you. Feel free to ask questions below. I will do my best to answer all the questions to the best of my ability. Update 1, trading deposits and withdrawal of Pearl have been suspended on KuCoin and every other exchange for the most part. Update number 2 was anyone sending Ethereum to the contract address in hopes of getting Pearl will not be reimbursed. Number 3, SHL, to our knowledge, is not affected. Update 4, we have not heard from Bruno since this has happened. We will be elaborated on more shortly. And then the number 5 is just a Oyster update link. But what's funny is that people audited this and didn't notice this because somebody brought this up to me in one of my live streams about 2 days ago. Or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. Either way, they brought this up to me, and I was like, "Wow, that's incredible." And I took a look at the contract, and I scrolled down, and I noticed that on 13, it was false 1 or 2 days ago, and this has not been changed. The director lock's still false as well. So, obviously they're just changing this contract around in some way, and somebody produced a ton of Pearl, sold it on KuCoin, and now has $300,000. So, hey, stay away from Pearl, and don't buy into it because you think it's a real nice, sassy dip. A nice little sassy, molassesy, brown, sugary dip. Because it's not. It's just an exit scam. Welcome to crypto, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.